Adrian Beltre ended up with George Brett, Mike Schmidt, ahead of Brooks Robinson, just behind Chipper Jones. The people that he ended up in the same neighborhood as in terms of approval for the Hall of Fame are the guys I just mentioned.
Yeah.
The greatest players ever at the position in the history of the sport. Do you mention it? Do you believe he belongs in that company? I'm going by the approval rating now, not the Hall of Fame.
I have to
be. Do you believe he's the same as Mike Schmidt and George Brett?
I have to be totally honest, and I know I'm not the only one who would say this as well. I kind of forgot he was an exclusive third baseman. I didn't even consider him a third baseman.
Okay.
I mean, even though he is, and that's my fault for not knowing it well enough.
Okay.
But, I mean, again, when I think George Brett, the third baseman.
Right.
Brooks Robinson. Okay, so, I didn't even realize he was in that. But what you're saying is, again, the percentage of the vote, when they got into the Hall, George Brett received 98.2% of the vote. Chipper Jones, 97.2% of the vote. Mike Schmidt, 96.5% of the vote. And Adrian Beltre, 95.1% of the vote. Brooks Robinson was behind him at 92%.
Correct.
One of those things is not like the other, and it's Adrian Beltre.
Okay, so you agree with that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so if you're asking me, would I rather be part of that 96% or part of the 4% that I am, I'll choose the 4%.
I'm just kind of provoking you.
No, I know you are.
Because I feel like the baseball world is upset at people like you.
Oh, no, they are.
They're in a manhunt for people like Mazz.
Oh, yeah, no, they're
based
out to
on
get
Twitter.
me. Yeah. C.J. Nitkowski, a former Major League pitcher, who was on Twitter and said that there were two quote-unquote writers, which he put in quotes.
Yeah, that's all it lets you know he's super serious.
Well, I
Two
have it,
writers.
I have it right here if you want me to read
Yeah,
the
read
actual.
it. Yeah, by all means.
So the C.J. Nitkowski is a former pitcher.
Yeah, left-hander, I believe.
Now he does
if I remember
broadcasting
right.
for the Braves or something like that.
Three writers
Good
voted.
guy, from what I hear.
Three writers voted for Billy Wagner in 2023, but not in 2024. Two writers, in quotes, sent in ballots with only Manny and A-Rod on them.
That was me.
You're one of two writers
Yep,
that sent in ballots with only two names on them, being Manny and A-Rod.
correct.
Nitkowski says the pitcher with the most ever strikeouts by a left-handed reliever and fourth most all-time missed the Hall of Fame by 5 votes in his 9th try. Brutal.
Uh-huh.
End quote. Go ahead, your response.
Okay, so again, I sort of come back to, so 3 guys left him off the ballot that had him on last year. I never had Billy Wagner on the ballot, so don't look at me. And what about all the people who didn't have Billy Wagner on the first year, but he's now up to 74% or whatever he is?
Yes. The number of people who didn't have him on the ballot was something like, I think he got
90.
10% of the vote his first year on the ballot.
So how come we don't criticize those people?
Answer your own question.
Because everybody wants to be nice and put everybody in the Hall of Fame, and they want to make it just, I like this guy, or he's a buddy of mine, or this is what it is now. And to me, like this whole idea, one of the things that really bugs me about the Hall of Fame voting is this idea that it should end up at 100% for everybody who gets in. Like, don't you see? We're debating this. The 75% are right, so how come you're the a-hole? Well, if he got in, what are you worried about? What, I'm not allowed my own opinion? I disagree with the masses, so everyone's going to be 100%? Like, that's what we have to go along with it just to go along with it? So you don't have to get pissed off. I'm still a no. Your guy got in. Everybody's happy.
Okay, but not Billy Wagner.
Billy Wagner's not happy yet, but he'll get in next year.
So listen, C.J. Nitkowski. I hate to break this to you, and I say it without malice, even though it's going to sound like I do, because I don't know how to deliver a strong take without sounding like I'm angry. I don't know how to do it. I'm not at my core a professional broadcaster, so it's going to sound like I'm angry and I'm attacking you, but I'm really not. I'm just trying to level with you.
Your baseline is sounding pissed.
Well, no, it is because again, I don't know how to project without being angry. It's my problem. But the content remains the same. CJ, I hate to break this to you. Your Hall of Fame sucks. Your Hall of Fame, really no one cares about it. And one of the reasons no one cares about it is because you want to put guys in the Hall of Fame like Billy Wagner and Todd Helton and leave out the guys we actually watched and cared about when we watched baseball. So if your Hall of Fame has Todd Helton, Scott Rowland, Craig Biggio,
Harold Baines.
And Billy Wagner, I'm going to leave out the Veterans Committee guys.
But still, even that, like, you wait around long enough, you're going to get into the damn thing now. I hate that.
If your Hall of Fame has Todd Helton and Craig Biggio because of their war, and we're not celebrating and talking about the guys that actually put asses in the seats and we cared about, like Alex Rodriguez or Manny Ramirez, those guys aren't in your Hall of Fame, your Hall of Fame is useless. Your Hall of Fame sucks. No one, CJ, I say this without malice. I am a talk show host. And constantly, I get stopped in the coffee shop on the street, pumping gas. Hey, Felger, what do you think of? What do you think of this? What do you think of that? How about this? How about that? You know what no one ever asks me, ever, about your useless, stupid Hall of Fame? Ever. No one cares. Especially because your Hall of Fame includes Todd Helton, Craig Biggio. These are on Veteran Committee after the fact. This is Craig Biggio, Todd Helton, and Scott Rowland, and not Alex Rodriguez and Manny Ramirez and the guys we actually cared about. Your Hall of Fame sucks. Your sport sucks. So you're sort of, I feel bad for you that people don't really care. They don't even know who Billy Wagner is, man. They don't even know. If you asked man on the street, how do you feel about Billy Wagner not being in the Hall of Fame? You know what man on the street would say?
Who's Billy Wagner?
I don't know who you're talking about. Now, can you tell me who the Pats are hiring as their offensive coordinator? Or I would even get more, hi, how about Charlie Coyle? He's made a step. No one cares about your Hall of Fame because of this, because of you, because of people like you. I know that sounds like an attack, but it's true. You get all sanctimonious about Billy Wagner, and no one even knows who he is, dude. So that's my thought on that.
Well, look, again, so to me, this is part of the problem with why the Hall of Fame doesn't matter anymore. And the big thing is the sport doesn't matter anymore, at least not the way it used to, and it's a pimple on most people's asses now, if that. So, but the problem is that it's not the Hall of Fame anymore. It's the Hall of Very Good. You've let everybody in. So again, if this is, and I admit I'm on the older side of the voting demographic, I presume. I mean, I don't know that for a fact, but I presume I'm not one of these people who's 85 years old and, still voting 30 years after I covered a game. I'm not that, but I get it. I'm on the older side of the demo, and the younger people want everybody in. If that's what they want, that's what they're going to get. It's fine. But to me, it waters down the product. As I say, I'm not interested in putting all-stars in the Hall of Fame. I want all-timers in the Hall of Fame. That's what I want. The all-timers of the all-timers. The 1% of the 1% of the 1%. That's what I'm looking for.
Oh, in the case of Beltre, can you win an MVP for me, for God's sakes?
Well, so look.
Can you be the talk of your sport for one season?
Again, I've said that. So I said this to someone in the hallway, and I'm probably forgetting something, but name me the signature moment of Adrian Beltre's career.
People tapping his head.
Right.
And getting uncomfortable about that.
Right.
Can you name one?
I can't, so I'm telling you. I can't really.
I like the guy as a player.
He was a really good player for a long time.
He was not an all-timer. The numbers were built up, steadily. He had one absolutely magnificent year, which was, I want to say, 2004 with the Dodgers, where he had 48 home runs. He was very much in the MVP conversation. I think he finished second that year. Okay, he led the league in home runs. Curiously, it was easily the highest home run total of his career. So I don't know. I always tended to look at Scott Boras clients in free agent years and wondered what the hell went on there. So forgive me for being a skeptic when that happened. But again, he never hit more than 35, 36 beyond that. And even then he was only over 30 a couple of times. And I'm not telling you he's a bum. I'm telling you, if he had more years like the year that he had in 2004,
and again,
I'd feel differently.
And again, you're talking about Beltre. You're not talking about
No, I'm
Helton.
talking about Beltre.
How about look at Helton?
You know what Helton's
in the steroid era in Colorado. But he's a Hall of Famer and Alex Rodriguez isn't. Okay, next. We're going to talk about the NFL draft like everybody else is, CJ. I feel bad for you baseball people. I really do.
I mean, again, the Colorado guys, Larry Walker's in, I didn't vote for him. Todd Helton's in, I didn't vote for him. But we're going to keep out A-Rod and we're going to keep out Manny Ramirez.
Yep. No, you just keep doing you, baseball.
you said this phrase years ago. I've adopted it. Okay, so you can take some credit for it if you'd like. Just vote for the best players.
The Hall of Fame's also supposed to be kind of fun. Yeah, you play highlight reels and you remember what is Todd Helton's highlight pack going to be?
Couldn't even tell you. His OPS away from Colorado was 200 points lower. He hit 287.
Oh, but what's his WAR?
Which is good. I'm not telling you he sucks. He's a good player.
Oh, his
Yeah,
WAR.
but who cares about that when you're talking about a Hall of Fame vote? I shouldn't have to look at your nerd stats to then determine, I guess that means he's a Hall of Famer.
And the other thing,
This is
Murray,
what-
is
just I can't take anyone under 40 seriously. Like if you're putting people like this into your Hall of Fame, you suck.
Yeah, your Hall of Fame sucks, and I'm giving it some air here, but no one really cares. No one really cares.
that's gone.
Because who would care about Todd Helton? And I don't mean to dump him. He's a fine human being. Who cares about him as a ball player? It's no one. But we get shamed.
Yeah, the other thing is, and this part goes up my ass too, okay? The whole war thing and using war and using...
War.
If we're going to do that, why have a vote? Why have a vote? Just punch in a computer program that calculates it based on the numbers and don't have people vote. I'm okay with that if that's what you want. I vote because I qualified for a vote. That's why, and I think that in an election, you actually have to use your brain. You have to use your eyes and whatever opinions you have and insight, or maybe you lack insight or whatever. And you can make the argument for me on any of those. But the idea that, he's got a higher war. I don't give a crap. I don't give two flying fish what his war is.
I'm going to drive out to effing Bumble Bleep, upstate New York, to go look at the bust of Todd Helton and Scott Rowland.
You got to go search on your phone and be like, wait a minute, who is that?
What position did he play again? I don't even really remember.
Adrian Beltre got a same percentage as Mike Schmidt.
Where's A-Rod?
You've got to be kidding me.
Even Manny. How about those guys? Those guys were fun. We watched those guys. I put asses in the seat. I actually went to the TV and watched those players. No, Todd Helton. And I'm the a-hole. Okay, like I said, baseball, you just keep doing you. It's working out great, I would say.